Well, Season 5 My Hero is finally upon us. I feel like to celebrate the occasion I should do a My Hero video. Not like a character analysis that I did last year, but a whole longer video that I want to be short. What I mean is that I had an idea to talk about who could be the worst character in My Hero Academia, which I feel like it's obvious to some people, but this is going to be in my opinion. And we're going back to all the way in 2017, where My Hero had Season 3. But that happened to be the year where I started My Hero, and I was 12 years old, so there were a lot of bad characters in my opinion at that time. And you might be thinking, wait, you were 12 years old when you saw My Hero? Or, I don't know, that sounds ridiculous to you, or how could I hate anybody in this show? I actually have no idea. I was just very young and naive to know some of the characters in this one. And let me be real and say, I mentioned this before in the Uraraka analysis video, that the whole Deku train was still in effect, or it was in effect when I was around that age that started My Hero. And, you know, I was willing to hate anybody that shunned my main Deku. So, that's definitely going to take place in this video. And I know this is going to be an ironic video since Season 5 is including Class 1B and Class 1A duking it out with each other. But rest assured, it'll definitely tie into that later. So let's just talk about who I think could be the worst character in My Hero Academia. So how can I open this up gently? I hated Bakugo at first. Whoa, wait a minute. Now let me explain. I was 12 when I first watched this show, and what doesn't make it better is that I started watching My Hero in 2017, which, if I remember correctly, was when Season 3 came out, so yeah, that doesn't make it better. Again, like I previously mentioned, the Deku train, I was basically feeling sorry, and I had the biggest sympathy jar for Deku. So why the heck are you telling me that Bakugo was his childhood friend? I get Deku looked up to him as a kid because he had a depressive quirk and he wanted to be just like him and All Might, but the way Bakugo treats Deku is very questionable. So I think I mostly just hated that and how Bakugo treated him now. I think what pisses me off is how Bakugo perceives Deku. Like many other people in this show, Ida, Uraraka, Momo, Denki, Jiro, the whole freaking Class 1A, because of Deku's powers, they basically consider him as some sort of lucky child. Like, I don't know, they just think very highly of Deku, which Bakugo does the same thing. Maybe it was before he found out about his quirk, but he's not that good with it, Bakugo. You gotta cool your jets a bit. Oh yeah, there was that incident where he fought Uraraka and he thought that Deku might have gave her answers on how to beat him and stuff, which wasn't the case, So that was practically on you. That was all Uraraka. I mean, that was also his fight with Todoroki, which I believe he said, "Are you underestimating me?" I'm like, dude, calm your jets. He's not even using his fire. And that's what you wanted him to do. So despite what All Might called him a hothead, I think he's just too over the top of himself. And that's the funny thing. He's over the top, which is funny, I guess. Yes. I feel like the funniest things of me watching this as a kid, or again a 12-year-old, was that my first immediate thoughts about Bakugo, I don't know how I phrased it, but I was like, man, why is Bakugo such a jerk? He should be the main villain, or a villain in this show, you know, since he goes up against Deku many times. And maybe it's karma, but when I got to Season 3, I'm glad nobody spoiled Season 3 to me, because when I saw that Shigaraki insisted on Bakugo to, you know, join the League of Villains, I thought, well, I didn't think 12-year-old me's wishes would come into play here. I want to say this is karma because it's something I regret now. Like, I didn't mean to. And Season 3 was around the time I started feeling petty for Bakugo, which makes sense because I started to miss him. And I admitted that I missed him in season 3. If it wasn't for that one scene where he was getting criticized about his attitude. What the hell did you say? You know, that's just automatically what made him funny to me. And the rest of the point on, he was just a very funny, misunderstood character. Maybe it's kind of like Team Rocket, where I get they're stupid. I just accept that at this point because they're freaking hilarious. It can only take so much stupidity. But Bakugo's not stupid, he's just a hothead, so there's a difference. Also, I was questioning why did girls like him as a kid. Again, I was 12. I had no idea how anybody would like him. But at this point, I'm fine with it. Now to get the obvious one out of the way. So there's a purple-haired degenerate, I like to call him, who despises Deku in some way, but surprisingly has a good quirk to back him up. If I can say his name right, Hitoshi Shinzo. Okay, I know. Just let me explain this a bit. I mean, I'm not wrong, am I? I know who y'all thinking. Just wait a minute here. I think when I look back on Shinzo's character, I don't think I can think of much other than I think I hated his fight with Deku. Like, his first appearance was assuming Class 1A was just as cocky as Bakugo, which, big mistake, my guy. And he wasn't that much of a good fighter with his battle with Deku. In all due respect, Deku couldn't keep his mouth shut because Hitoshi had to piss him off. Yeah, I do shade at both of them because that makes sense. And when Deku snapped out of it, he kind of, I don't know, struggled to make him lose. And I'm like, okay, dude, no, you're literally fishing for a win. That's what I literally saw from this. I didn't even play Once Justice 2 when I saw the tournament arc, and I already knew he was fishing for a win. I'm like, stop it, you lost. It just seemed petty and honestly pathetic. Like, I don't know. That's just pretty much it. I didn't think much of Hitoshi. He kind of seemed pathetic when he was fighting against Deku. And not even that, his quirk. Why the heck is his quirk mind control? More importantly, why is he even in the school? In fact, it does bring up a lot of questions with the whole entrance exam, because we all know how that went down. So with his quirk mind control, if I explain how it works, if somebody answers a question that he specifically asked, or I don't know if they speak around him, he'll be able to control their minds and he can, tell them to do whatever. I'm trying to explain this as obvious as I can. It's just, the quirk mind controlling seems like a villain thing, so it's sort of mischievous or, I don't know, diabolical. That seems like an ability that only sadists and succubus would have. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Now how about we play a little game called What the Heck Could I Possibly Be Thinking? I want y'all to think about everything I just said prior to this bit and think about what could I possibly be thinking of what would Shinzo do with his quirk other than simply, I don't know, tell somebody to walk off the stage. He mind controls, answer of a question. Women actually like this dude. Not to mention Aizawa. They seem intimidating. I think we all know what he would do at this bid. I think the safest way I can answer this is saying that Shinzo might be, let's just say he's the dominant scenario. Yeah, that doesn't make it better. But I think other than that, he's not really much of a valid fighter. I mean, we all know how he lost to Deku. So, basically, he just didn't have a lot of potential. So I guess that's why we're seeing him in joint training guard now with the binding grab stakes to Aizawa. And he are alike, as you know, because they both have quirks involving, I want to say the mind or eyes. Yeah, it does involve the eyes. So the binding wraps are basically perfect for him to contain and possibly attack somebody with. I played Once Justice 2, so I know how Aizawa uses those things. Okay, let's get this one out of the way. Mineta Minoru. Now, even as a kid, I couldn't tell that this toddler-sized dude was was a pervert in his own way. Like I couldn't tell that he was a pervert when I first saw him, especially from the first thing he said in the show. I think I love this school. Like, he could have phrased it any way possible for me to know he was a pervert. And I know why people hate him, because he's just a pervert that may seem to have a useless quirk, but honestly, that isn't the case, and I'll explain why it's honestly perfect for him in the long run. But do I hate Mineta? No, not really. I mean, he's one of those anime pervs that really wants to get and see some coochie, but is highly unlikely to succeed. And I want to say that's just the reassurance to me, because knowing that he wants to see the coochie, but then he's gonna fail, it's just gonna, you know, it's funny to see that play out. Like, a couple of scenes that represent this is, let's just call this the Shawshank incident in season 2, where he found a hole that led to the girls' locker room so he could get a peek. But then Ida was like, don't even think about it. People don't like that would be criminal. And you have to put me in solitary confinement because you can't stop me. If I really wanted to right now, I could repeat everything he says here, which I know I'm going to cut out and probably do, but for the sake of me, I'm not going to do it. Well, then if you're not going to do it, then future Aiden will. Ha 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 ha, I am here. I sound like All Might and I am sad. I think that's what All Might says in Watch Justice 2. Anyway, what's his name, let's say? Lord forgive me, for I have sinned to say these words. I want to see Yairo's curse, Ashido's slender waist, Hagaku's floating underwear, with Baraka's super fine body, Asui's unexpectedly so boobies. Now, if only y'all could see the look on my face to tell you how much I'm dying from saying this. But anyway, he gets poked in the eye by Jiro before he can even say anything about her, which is kind of concerning to me, because why, Jiro? Why? I don't know. That scene, I think, showed one of his grossest faces throughout the entire anime. It used to be the funniest scene until season 3. So in the training camp arc where things went wrong, the class got to go into the hot springs, to chill, relax a bit after a hard day's work and eating food and stuff. And of course, the hot springs were separated. Oh, so he said that about the dorms. There we go. Do my ears deceive me? Our paths are located in a common space? Is this heaven? They're separated by gender, and you'll behave yourself. Yes, sir. I mean, that's all like, I don't know, creating his will or something. Like he's fawning over the wall, praying that one day he'll be able to sit right next to the girls at the hot springs. Now, I'm gonna say this right now. If Mineta was Rimuru Tempest, he would get a lot of coochie. And we all know this. And I don't know why I'm saying coochie. Coochie Crusader. But then the rest of the guys in class 1A is like, oh no, he's gonna do it, is he? And Denki's like, yep, it's too much for him. And as Ida's trying to stop him because it's both demeaning to him and the girls, Mineta had a strike of realization. Keep in mind, his quirk is pop-off, which means he has sticky balls to his head, and the more he pulls out, the more he bleeds. But the balls are stickier depend on, I don't know, his bodily fluids. Like, he mentions in season 1 that he had a good poop in the morning, so the balls were very much to be stuck. And, I want to say it's more connected to that than you think. Because, like I said, the quirk is perfect for him because he's a pervert, sticky balls. Well, so anyway, when Mineta realizes this, he's like, I see. Now I know why I have this quirk. It's because walls are meant to be climbed. And he is just counting his will right now. He's climbing that wall. I like how he's like saying his will and everything. Like, all that training, all the times I almost died. Like, you would think. It makes sense, but you would think it was to prepare for this shining moment. And at this moment, Mineta knew. He freaked out. So, thanks to Aizawa, Kota stood up the wall to make sure Mineta wouldn't try anything. And I like how he smacks him. After saying, before you learn how to be a good hero, you should learn how to be a good human. honestly freaking perfect. Now, there were two unfortunate things that happened after this scene. One, Ida was under Mineta when he climbed up the wall, so I feel sorry for Ida, let's just say. Hey, but the best part is, you know, Mineta was trying to go up the wall to see the girls naked. But then when Mina was thinking Kota got to see ghosts of them afterwards. I mean, he accidentally fell off and Deku saved him, but it just has me thinking, because that happened, like, bro, imagine if Mineta knew that Kota got to see them naked. After he smacked him off the wall, he would kill him. Which I think kind of translates well, though, because I think later on in season 3, where they had the provisional licensing exam, which again was the same arc that made me like Bakugo. At that point, we all know that Deku had an encounter with Kami Usushimi, who seemingly had a quirk of illusion, body transformation. Yeah, we all know, but we barely knew about Toga's quirk at that point, but we all know. But to Zero, it didn't look that way. According to them, they all thought that she was naked, which wasn't exactly the case. But then he brings it up to Mineta like, yo, you gotta hear this story. It's freaking juicy. What's the rating? XXX. Go on. And then after telling them this, Mineta and Deku start getting jealous of Deku, thinking, how plus ultra did you went with her? I'm like, bruh. Yo. I know I said before that all of Deku's classmates overestimate him, like they think highly of him, but you have to be, like, I don't know, like, you have to be freaking delusional, you know, and crazy to think that Deku can get it with somebody, you know, because of how he already is. I'm sorry, Deku, you're a blushy boy, and I can't talk because that's the same thing with me. But Mineta is, like, worse because he gets, like, very angry about this, too. Which is ironic because in the anime canon movie Two Heroes, Denki and Mineta saw her with Melissa Shield and was like, hey, who's that hottie you were with today, huh? I'm like, well, dang. And I guess this is a difference because Melissa was just walking around with Deku and it's not like she showed up to him naked. That doesn't make it better. But the silver lining about this is that, yeah, in their arc where they fought Midnight, it actually made me like him despite his dumb reasons for wanting to be a hero. I want to be a hero so girls can touch me. Now that I think about it, it does make sense why they wouldn't touch him. But at the end, he realizes that being a hero isn't supposed to make you look cool, but it's because it is cool. And then he saves Zero with great rush, fighting Midnight, mind you. I believe Zero said in the beginning, before they fought Midnight, you are such a little scumbag. That actually kind of sounds familiar. It almost sounds like, you greedy dirtbag! I'm sorry. And I like the quote that he says after this, which kind of cemented me liking him as a funny character, if you will. I believe he said, we'll live to see Oppai another day. And I think for some reason I smiled and like, I'm proud of him. And that's pretty much why I like Mineta this way. Like, yes, he's a pervert, but the best thing about him is that he's not going to succeed. And I can't say he's useless or annoying because his character definitely makes sense with how his quirk is. Sticky balls, like what else am I supposed to say with his purpose on it? No stuff. And I will admit that the greatest thing the show could do is not give him any sort of satisfaction. Because it's not like he... Well, I mean, it's not like he groped anybody. Well, it's not like he saw anyone's ass. Oh, come on, anime! It is time to reveal my least favorite, most loathed, most hatred human being in this show. The worst character in My Hero Academia is none other than Class 1B's Naito Monoma. Naito Monoma. Now, to be honest, I don't think there's anything to really say about Monoma, other than he's pretty much smug and obnoxious.
in that specific order. In the UA Sports Festival, he kind of bullied Bakugo in a bit, showed off his copycat quirk by using Bakugo and Kirishima's quirk, which is kind of convenient. Now, I already hated Bakugo at this point, but something about another person bullying Bakugo, you know, a character I already hate, it just makes me want to react like, hey buddy, back off, don't make me put you on the hit list too. Going by the fact that this guy's never really interacted with Deku, you know, other than the entire class, which I'm not counting because not specific to a main character, right? Basically, he didn't really interact with Deku that much, so I basically didn't care for him. And that was kind of my motto for anybody that didn't really hate Deku. Oh god, that makes more sense than I wanted it to be. But regardless, a few episodes later, because I remember him doing a smug scene before, after the Cavalry battle, but then after that he showed this one obnoxious face like, hey, wasn't Class 1A supposed to be better than us? I feel like this is where it all started. Now, if I can kind of explain why I hate this guy so much, again, he's just obnoxious. He's that one type of person that wants to, I want to say, prove a point, but it's basically not needed. I'm not saying he's useless or unneeded, but it just gets annoying when he's trying to one-up Class 1A. And that's his basic motive. He just wants to one-up them in anything. But it doesn't really help when he's not really good at it. He failed, I want to say, the practical exam where they had to fight the teachers. And after season 5, I want to say I know where he gets it from. Besides that though, I think another example is basically the UA School Festival, where Class 1A of course had their lovable concert, and Monoma and Class 1B had their play based off Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and I think something else. And I'm sure we all know who won that contest anyway, like that wasn't even a contest. But then coming back to season 5, Monoma had to pull up his, I don't know, voting charts, popularity charts, I guess it was that because apparently somebody liked their performance by 2 votes. You know, Class 1A had their concert and they had a play, and apparently 2 other people liked it, Class 1B's thing than Class 1A's. I want to guess who those 2 people could be, but I'm not talking about them. My point is that what's a nice way to put it? Who the f cares? Like, with all due respect, we all love Class 1A's concert. Not to say I don't care about their play. With all due respect, I do like a couple people from Class 1B, if not everybody else besides Monoma. But him bringing this up in season 5 when they're about to do the joint training, you know, fights, it's just immature and pointless. Yeah, it's just great to have him back, isn't it? Also, I know this guy mocks and, what's the word, boasts? He mocks and boasts about himself in front of Class 1A, but there was one point where he took it too far and kind of blamed him on the villain attacks. As we all know, Class 1A is the center of attention. They usually get in trouble with the villains and countering them, you know, because it happened twice before he said this. I don't know exactly what he said, but I'm pretty sure it was deadly harsh because, like, bruh. Basically, he's just saying how they may one day be unwarned victims of a villain attack, which I guess explains the training camp. Yeah. But in a way, he's basically blaming them for being the center of attention, therefore the villains want to kill them or something like that. And it makes me want to say, well, you know, it's a good thing they ain't the center of attention. Or y'all ain't the center of attention. Do you want to get hurt? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know why, it just sounds like a blaming, but again, he didn't have to bring that up. You can mention that you're trying to one-up them or that they're a little slacking, but that's too far. You don't have to pull that on their asses. And I want to say it's one of the reasons why I like Kendo, Isuka Kendo. I know I probably mentioned it before in my Uraraka video that she was one of my favorite waifus, next up to Mina and Jiro. I don't want to say this was the only reason I liked her, but I had the highest respect for Kendo because she keeps Monoma out of trouble. In other words, she shuts him up. Thank God she does. I want to say that's why I was mostly excited for her battle against Momo in season 5. And although after reading manga 21, I'm already aware of the fight Monoma is going to encounter. I know he's going to have Shinso, which I want to say doesn't make it better, but you know, we got some of my favorite characters on Team 5. We got Deku, Uraraka, Mina, and even Mineta. Not to say I already liked all these characters, but I mean, hey, pick or choose who can lose. Pick or choose, Monoma could probably lose. Point is, I don't really care who beats him. I just want to see him get punched in the face, or I don't know, worse. Which is actually going to be curious to see how would he react against a defeat of S Class 1A. It might be interesting to see. But bottom line, Monoma is honestly the worst being in the show. At the end of the day, he's just an obnoxious little twerp that wants to one-up Class 1A, which is obviously not going to happen. Worse than Plankton, worse than Team Rocket, hell, probably worse than, I don't know, Warren Stone from Rise of TMNT. He's just very, very obnoxious. That's the word of today. That's his whole character. He's f***ing obnoxious. Sure, there are some moments where he can be smug or, God forbid, interesting. But, you know, that's just it. There's also one thing that kind of hurts me. The dubbing for Monoma. I love the entire dub for My Hero Academia, don't get me wrong. And I know these voice dubbers in many other animes too. But here's the thing. Austin Tisdale does the voice for Monoma in the dub, which he happens to be my favorites in such animes as D-Fragments, Love Tyrant, and hell, even Reincarnated as a Slime. And I confused this voice for Bakugo's when he voiced Gabiru. He's basically a funny dub voice that I wouldn't expect to hear in an action series like this. And with all due respect, it's great to hear him here. But why does he have to voice this son of a... Another interesting thing about the dubbing cast for this is that Kendo is voiced by Jad Saxton, who, according to my knowledge, voices Guri in Love Tyrant. Now, I'm going to be brief about the synopsis. In Love Tyrant, there are two characters, Seiji Aino and Guri, which Seiji Aino is voiced by Austin Tisdale. The relationship of these two is a very uniquely interesting one, where basically Seiji has to keep Guri out of trouble and usually, I want to say, calls her out on doing stupid stuff. My hero is basically the opposite, because Kendo shuts Monoma up. I want to know if that's what they're thinking. It'd be funny to know. So it kind of just seems, I don't know, conflicting that he has a lovable voice to me. But regardless though, he's the worst character in My Hero in my opinion. Now don't get me wrong, I've already mentioned Bakugo, Shinzo, and God forbid, Aizawa to be on this list, just because I know these characters will love. So, I'm just gonna say, if you like Monoma, I guess that's fine, you see something I don't, but in my eyes, he's just obnoxious, because I'm generally just wondering, why? Why do you really want to one-up Class 1A? Oh god. We actually gotta see his backstory in this season. Don't make me sympathize with this snut. So, Monoma, on behalf of me and Class 1A,
you need to shut the f up!
I'm gonna be honest with you, this video did not have to take this long. I was just using any free time I had around the past few weeks, not to mention last month, to basically work on the video. But that then said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, because there's more on the way soon. Because I'm gonna take a rest and a needed vacation, I guess. Blue Blade 19 is out. Peace. And the relationship between these two, the relationship of, I don't know.